All right. The Club World Cup starts this weekend, and I really don't think it's an exaggeration whatsoever to say this tournament has the potential to completely nuke football as we know it. Now, football in itself is already an unequitable sport, okay? In every continent, there is levels of inequity built on top of each other. In every continent, in every continental competition. And this tournament is meant to bring everybody together and, everybody crown the best team in the world and all that jazz. On a footballing perspective, right? Of course, there are the concerns about player safety. These players just finished the season. They have to play another competition. The clubs are taking it seriously. It's going to be high-intensity games and so on and so forth. There's obviously all that. Everybody's already talked about that. And it's a very clear and obvious concern. From a footballing perspective, purely just entertainment perspective, I am intrigued. I'm not going to lie to you. I am very interested in what the tournament has to offer. I do think it's going to... I'm excited to see some of the best teams in the other continents try to compete for this tournament. I'm excited to see more good football. I'm not going to lie. But the real potential for this tournament to completely destroy football and how it is financially. Right now, this tournament is going to come in at $1 billion with a B. $1 billion in tournament prize money, just based on competition. $1 billion on prize money. That $1 billion is up from just $15 million last Club World Cup. $15 million spread across 7 teams. That's how it used to be. For an average of $2.2 million per team. Now we have $1 billion. I can't stop saying that number. $1 billion divided between 32 teams for an average of $32 million per team. This, I think the best way to really describe this is, if you win this tournament, if your European team wins this tournament, which is likely what's going to happen, if you as a European team win this tournament, you are liable to make $125 million in prize money, which is almost as much as you make from winning the Champions League. This is basically the financial equivalent of winning another Champions League. If PSG or City or whoever were to win, it's the financial equivalent of winning another Champions League. And this makes it insanely important to all the European teams. It's insanely important to all the European teams to not just do well, but potentially win it. It's make or break. It could completely change the history, the future of teams like Inter or Atleti or Juve. But the European teams the European scale is just part of it. Because you could go out in the group stage and come up with like 13 million, 40, 30 million, $40 million. Huge money, of course, right? But not as consequential. Here's the problem though. The other continents, there's already the inequality built. The same way there's inequality in European football and there's top dogs, the same thing happens in all the other continents. And for them, the stark difference is ginormous. It's ridiculous. I'm just going to go by it one by one. Africa is represented by 4 teams. Al Ahly are the Egyptian champions. They've won 4 of the last CAF Champions Leagues. The 4 of the last African Champions Leagues. Okay? They are, by so far, the most dominant African club team ever. They are one of the most decorated club teams ever in all of football in general. Okay? They have a market value of their squad that's 43% higher than just number 2 in all of Africa. 43% higher than number 2. They've already poached the star player of their historic rival Zamalek. Okay? So they are operating in itself, they are operating on a financial plane so much higher, galaxies higher than everybody else in Africa. If you win the African Champions League, you get $4 million. That's your prize money for winning the African Champions League. For participating, let me say that again, for participating in the Club World Cup, you get $10 million. You get more than double what you get for winning the African Champions League by just participating in this competition. Which means just Al Ahly's presence in this competition is already going to put them at a higher stratosphere than everybody else. They're already in their own league, and now they're going to be pushed even higher. And yes, there are 3 other African teams in the competition. Yeah, Al Ahly go high here, and those 3 teams financially separate from the rest of Africa. If one of these teams were to exit the group stage, get to the knockouts, that's another 7 million right there. That's another 2 Champions Leagues gone. And $2 million for every win they get. Every two wins is another African Champions League in terms of prize money. That's the kind of money we're talking about here. It has the potential to basically make it, and this goes across all the continents. I'll outline them all. But basically, this tournament has the potential where if you are not in it, you are going to be so financially behind in your continent. It might just be completely unsustainable. Like it might be impossible to compete if you're not in this competition. South America is another one. South America has 6 teams representing it. Okay? I don't know how many people know this. I feel like it's kind of like an under-talked story in terms of global football. The Copa Libertadores, you get $23 million for winning the Copa Libertadores, right? A Brazilian team has won the Copa Libertadores 7 of the last 8 times. Of the last 16 finalists, 11 have been Brazilian teams. And in the last 5 years, we've had 4 all-Brazilian finals. Both teams in the finals being Brazilian teams. Okay? 4 out of the 6 teams are Brazilian. 4 out of the 6 representatives in the Club World Cup are Brazilian. The other 2 are obviously the River Plate and Boca Juniors, the other 2 big teams in South America. So there's already a ginormous financial disparity between the Brazilian league and everybody else, even River Plate and Boca Juniors. There's already a huge financial disparity. Okay, and now every 4 years there are going to be 4 to 6 Brazilian teams that get an insane financial boost. South American teams get $15 million just for participating. So more than African teams. They get $15 million just for participating. If they get to the knockouts, that's equivalent of another Copa Libertadores win. That's basically the financial equivalent of that. Just to get to the knockouts. You get to the quarterfinals, you somehow make it to the semifinals, you're making money that's simply never before seen in that continent. It's outrageous how much money we're talking about. In Asia, there's already built-in inequality by the fact that Saudi have just spent ungodly amounts of money, right? And the Gulf countries spend a lot anyway, but so there's already a built-in inequality there. And realistically, this tournament is basically the byproduct of what Saudi wants to do. This tournament is they've basically helped engineer it to give themselves a more global platform. This is where they want to show out. That's why you're seeing them scramble to make big signings in this window, right? That's another thing, by the way. The thing I didn't mention earlier is this earlier transfer window for the teams that are in the Club World Cup. This is an every 4-year occurrence now. Every 4 years, there is going to be an earlier window where so much of the business is done so early by the biggest teams in order to have players to compete for this tournament. So that's another way this tournament changes the landscape of things. The way they're looking at it right now, okay? There's only one Saudi representative this year, and that's Al Hilal. Already this year's tournament was won by Al Ahly, so they'll be a next edition of the Club World Cup. So if you're Saudi, you see this tournament as an opportunity for a global audience. You want to dominate at this tournament. You want to win at this tournament, okay? What that means is they will do every single thing possible for all 4 winners of the Asian Champions League to be Saudi, right? They need to dominate in the coefficient and they need to dominate in the Asian Champions League so that they can take their opportunity and all 4 teams from Asia be Saudi. In North America, you get $5 million for winning the CONCACAF Champions Cup. $5 million. You get $10 million just for participating in this tournament. So again, just participating in this thing is double the amount you get for winning the continental competition that could bring you here. Okay, that's how much money we're talking, and it's already causing all kinds of shit in MLS specifically because they have the salary cap and all that, and their bonus structure, their revenue structure based on these tournaments is capped by their current agreement, and now they're being offered 20% of whatever the team earns from these third-party tournaments or these international tournaments. The players are being offered that. Now, first of all, 20% is not enough because they should be getting a lot more. But here's the other thing. Let's say for MLS purposes, let's say the Seattle Sounders win the cup this year, right? They're in it 4 years from now, which means all those players know they're gonna get international tournament bonuses in 4 years. What's to stop players from kind of just being like, hey, let's get over there. That's where we want to play. That's guaranteed money. That's more guaranteed money right there instantly. In a salary cap league like the MLS, which again I'm against the salary cap, but let's focus on the basic here. What's to stop players from being like, I know that team is gonna be making X amount of money more. Those players are gonna be making X amount of money more in 3 to 4 years. I want to go there. What's to stop them from doing that? There's so much potential for chaos in this landscape. This tournament is going to be, as it currently exists, this tournament is going to basically be for non-European teams. If you are not in this, you will fall massively behind. And virtually you will have no chance of competing if you are not in this competition. I really don't think I'm overstating the issue when I say, like, this could genuinely destroy a sport that's already full of inequality. It's full of financial gaps and everything. This could make that even a billion times higher. I think, in a way, that kind of works by design.